Open source database presented by Jezreel, Room T. Aguipo, Darrel M. Herman, John Alex P. Porras, Rommel E. Racho. What is open source database? An open source database is any database application with a new code base that is free to view, download, modify, distribute, and reuse. Open source license give developers the freedom to build new applications using existing database technologies.
Examples of open source databases. In relational databases, here are the examples. MySQL, PostgreSQL, and MariaDB or database. In NoSQL or non-relational databases, here are the examples. MongoDB, CouchDB, and Cassandra.
MySQL is the most popular and commonly used database. Next, so this is the picture of MySQL. So MySQL is a relational database with a layered kind of architecture. The layers of the architecture include a server resource and at the middle, the storage engine at the bottom and the client end or query execution and at the top. It's a three-layered architecture database system.
The architecture of MySQL database explains the relationship and interaction between the client and server end and storage end of the system. Below are the various layers of the database system. So that's the picture, and then next one. So client end. The client end of the MySQL architecture is the part being interacted within by end users of the database system. The user makes use of the graphic user interface screen or the command prompt for submission of various MySQL commands to the server end. For every valid command submission, there is a valid output on the screen. So for every wrong command submission, there's an error message sent as feedback to the screen. When a user sends a request to the server end and the server accepts the request, a connection is established at once to enable the user carry out further requests. This could be termed connection handling, and it's a function rendered by the client side of the architecture. Next one is server end. The server end of the architecture compromises the logic of the database system. It is the brain of the MySQL architecture. It receives every request sent by the client side and also returns feedback upon processing every request. For every request sent by the client, there is an establishment of a connection. This connection is known as a thread on the server side. The server end of the architecture helps in managing every established thread, and this is known as trend handling. Trend handling is a function carried out by the server end of the architecture. And lastly, the storage end. The MySQL database contains a different kind of storage engines, which exist as a result of varying needs of databases. Storage engines are used to hold every user-created table in the database system. The storage end facilitates the storing and retrieving of MySQL data. The storage engine has an API that aids in the execution of the queries from the client end to the architecture just by passing rows back and forth. And that's it. Thank you.